As your mayor, it's my duty and responsibility to always keep you abreast of what's going on inside of your city, a city which you have allotted us the opportunity to serve you over these last 3 years, going into this 4th year. At this time, I must share with you what I received through email this morning from several employees inside the city of Selma. Employees right now are very disgusted and upset and angry with how they've been treated and handled by city government. The employees right now are off on sick and vacation leave due to what they are considering to be unworkable conditions. In the letter that I received from the employees, there were 3 demands. Those demands was to make sure that their departments are fully staffed again because they are overworked and they are underpaid, to make sure that there are adequate wages and salaries inside all of their departments, and thirdly, to make sure they have the necessary equipment to be able to serve you as a citizen inside of the city. Now, this is not a new story. It's not a new commentary. For the last 3 years, you've heard the mayor's office, you've heard department head with the same concern. Make sure we are paying our employees a livable wage and not just a minimum wage just to get by. And so let me share with you how we possibly got to this point where we are now. With employees taking off sick leave and on vacation time, that basically means that services are being stopped at the time inside the city of Selma. When you have the tax collector department that's not open during this time of the season where taxes are due, when you got the public works department who's no longer picking up trash or providing sewage services inside the city of Selma, that is a great burden on the city. When the landfill has closed down and shut up, that impacts what happens when it comes to the healthiness of our city and comes to trash inside the city of Selma. The building inspector who's not here today or who won't be here for God knows who how long, that impacts people getting business licenses and inspections being done inside the city. And I hear these employees cry loud and clear. I've heard them for the last 3 years. The mayor's ear is not deaf to the sentiments of the employees. In every budget I've given to the council, there has been measures to increase pay inside the city of Selma, which have been raised in over a decade. It's just unacceptable for the city council to continue to play political football with the city employees, to push the issue down the road. So this past week, the council took up the budget that we presented to them over 2 months ago. 2 months ago. The budget was given to the council 2 months ago. Department heads took their time to do videos online and on this PEG channel to share with you what the needs were for their departments. The council over the last week and a half had budget hearings. For those who did attend the budget hearing, everybody seemed to be on board with what was presented. All councils agreed we need to pay our employees a livable wage. All the councils did not show up to the meeting. However, on Monday evening, on the special call meeting, the budget was voted down, and they continued the budget which we had for the last 3 years. It's unfair to you, it's unfair to employees to continue to operate off a budget that we had in place 3 years ago with not enough revenue to sustain that budget. You know that I made a tough decision last November. In November 2018, we had to lay off city employees because of the lack of revenue that was coming into the city. And you may have heard recently that right now we got $2 million inside the city general fund, not our reserve fund, but in our general fund, and that's simply due to the layoff. As a city our size, in any city, we can't live paycheck to paycheck, month to month. We should have at least 90 to 120 days reserves to be able to operate and function as a city. These employers are at dire end. I hear their concerns, and I'm urging the council to move expeditiously. I urge them to move now and quickly to address these demands of our city employees. They're only asking for what is right. What you may not have been aware of, and I think the council, again, on the political ploy, they voted the budget down because they thought it was the budget that I had placed together myself. But the budget that was placed online, the budget you heard our department heads talking about, the budget that were presented to the council, that budget came directly from my department heads. I compiled the budgets and I stood with them to agree with them. Yes, we should pay our employees more money. Yes, you should have more equipment inside of your department. Yes, you should have more staff inside of your department. I only agreed with our department heads on what they needed for their departments. And for the council to play with our department heads over these last 2 weeks, not taking budget hearings seriously, for to say they didn't have enough time. Well, the process traditionally in Selma, they usually start budget hearing until August. We gave the budget to them. They the one decided to start late September to start having these budget hearings. Had nothing to do with the mayor's office, had nothing to do with department heads. Adequate time was given for the council to take up this budget. But to sit there and to waste your time and department heads' time just to say they're going to continue the same budget that they had for over 3 years, it's just unconscionable to even think that you will continue to try to operate and waste people's time saying that you agree with everything because of political posturing, because of personal vandalas against the mayor's office. Listen, the council saying no is hurting you as a citizen. They are hurting employees as employees working inside this city of Selma. When the Public Works Department director stands before the council just a week ago and say that he's losing employees because we are paying them wages that they can't afford to take care of their families off of, and for a council member to say, what does that have to do with the council? That is heartless, that is cold, and that's not a sign of leadership. We should make sure that we are taking care of our employees so our employees can take care of us. That's how this should work. It should be a reciprocity. It's give and take. We give to our employees. They give back to the city by taking care of the needs of the city. But to continue to push this envelope down the road because you got council members who are posturing themselves for re-election or for other positions, that is not a sign of true leadership. The council needs to stop playing politics with the lives and the livelihood of the people who work for this city. They have an opportunity now to make this right. Employees, I'm not sure, from my understanding now, they're going to be off at least a week from my understanding. That could go longer. I'm not sure. That's the last conversation I had with employees. I'm asking you to urge your council member to grow up, stop being immature, make these decisions that are necessary to move this city forward. They agreed. If you read the article I saw in the paper, in the Selma Sun paper, you have the president of the council who agreed. They agree with the fees that was placed in the budget. So what's the issue then? The sales tax was taken off last year, if you recall. I rehashed that last year. I gave the council a $22 million budget, which included pay increases and raises for all city employees. The council intel said they would not vote for a $22 million budget because they have a sales tax in there. Instead, they passed a $17.9 million, which was a continuation from the previous administration budget. So this year, to find common ground, I came to the council with a $20 million budget, figuring they would meet us halfway. They had a $17.9 million budget, which roughly was $18 million. We had a $22 million last year. I found common ground and put it at $20 million. And yet the council was on board until Monday night. They wasted, again, department heads' time. They wasted taxpayers' time just to pass the same budget that they've passed for the last 3 years. You should ask yourself, is the council really doing the job that you elected them to do? I'll remind you, the job of the council is to make sure revenue is here to provide the services to you. It's not the mayor's job, it's not the department head's job to make sure revenue is there. It's our job to tell the council what the needs are inside the city. And this role has flipped over these last 3 years. You have council members who are so busy trying to tell the mayor and department heads on what we need to do that they have failed to execute and have revenue inside the city to provide basic service to you. Basic public services to you is what all citizens deserve. So I'm asking the council, I'm urging the council, let's move swiftly, expeditiously this week to address these demands. We can't continue to play this game. This is not a game where these people's lives are hanging in the balance. And the council must mature, rise to the level, and make these tough decisions. Decisions can't be based off what you're running for re-election or you're running for a high office. This ain't about that. The marking of a leader is what he or she does during time of controversy, what he or she does when times of challenges. And these are such times. It's controversy. The council don't want to pass the budget for God knows what reason. But it's a challenge. We have employees who saying they're not going to continue to sit idly by and let this council play with their livelihoods and play with their families. Because that vote of no confidence in the budget is a vote against all our department heads. Think about that for a moment. The department's head came before the council and said, this is what we need to be successful, to provide services inside the city. And for the council to ignore that, that is not a sign of true leadership. I'm afraid to say you got a hand group of people who are controlling the entire council. That is not what you elected those council members to do. You have to hold all of us accountable. It's not the mayor's job to make sure revenues inside the city. It is the council's sole responsibility. And you will hear the council say everything except for doing what is right for the city. You ask yourself, in 3 years, that's over 36 months, what revenue measure has this council passed? Zero. What tough decisions have they made when it comes to making sure that our employees had everything that they needed? Zero. If you recall, it took a year of me begging them just to get trash trucks to pick up your trash inside the city of Selma. You see the streets are caving in, but yet you got council members who want to pay contractors $22 and $24,000 just to fix potholes, but they won't pay staff inside the Public Works Department to hire at that same pay rate. That's an issue when you have council members who are trying to execute on the executive level as if the funds belong to them. It's your taxpayers' money. It's not council members' taxpayers' money. It's yours. It belongs to you. But one caveat inside this whole conversation, the council, while they refuse to give employees pay raises and increases and to restore staffing to all these departments, they did not hesitate to try to carry over money that we saved together by eliminating certain services this year because of the lack of revenue. They voted to carry that money over for their discretionary purposes. It seems to me the council priorities are out of place. They're not in the right place. They need to be on providing services for you, not for themselves, not for their friends, not to do things that the group of supporters that they have want them to do. When we make decisions for Selma, it's for all of Selma, not just some of Selma. And that is the challenge before the council. And I urge you to talk with your council member to see where they stand on paying our employers adequate pay, a livable wage. And I know you will hear the conversation. They say, well, the mayor didn't give us the full Auburn pay scale. Well, this pay scale began before I became into office. The previous administration started this pay scale. I only can share with the council what Auburn has given back to me. Auburn sent us a pay scale saying, use this for your budget while we continue to complete our package to give to you all. And the council said, well, the pay scale means nothing to them. Let that sink in for a moment. We paid $80,000 for a study to pay our employees. And when we present the pay scale to the council, they say because they don't have the full package, the pay scale means nothing to them. Let's put that to the side for a moment. In our system right now, the pay scale that was adopted over 12 years ago is still inside our pay system. And the council can utilize that pay scale to increase employees' pay inside the city of Selma. Right now, the council has paid every department, every employee, the minimum rate for the scale in which they're working at. Get that? The minimum. For the last 10 years, they've paid employees the minimal rate what they can pay them. Hey, it's obvious to me. The council don't believe in paying employees for the work that they do. So I'm asking you. I'm coming directly to you to ask you to lend your voice in this conversation. Apparently, they're not hearing my voice. Apparently, they're not hearing the department head's voice. Maybe they will hear from you. Maybe you have enough authority, enough ability to convince your council member to do what is right for the city of Selma. I do know when you do what is right, you can never go wrong. You can never go wrong doing what is right. And the question is asked, when should I do right? You should do right even when it's not popular. I know it's an election year. You got council members who's gathering up for another election cycle. But you did not elect us to get into these positions, to posture ourselves, to stay in office for another 4 years. You elected us to make tough decisions right now while we're in this office. Not to say we got a title, not to say we have a position. And in the meanwhile, employers are hurting. The city is hurting. Just look around this city. You see grass having been cut. You see potholes are turning to cave-ins. But yet we got council members who were paid thousands of dollars to paint streets on streets that are caving in. That is not found financial ability. What that is people are looking out for their friends. That is not what we do in city government. We make tough decisions regardless who likes them or not. That is a sign of leadership. As a leader, you can't be needed to look for public praise. As leader, you have to make the tough decisions, and the people will see why you made that tough decision once you make the decision. And that's why I'm asking the council. This is not a tough decision to make. This is an easy decision. You either want to pay our employees or you want them to continue to leave this city and find a job elsewhere. When they can go to other private businesses in other cities and make double the amount they're making inside the city of Selma. Because we have some great employees. And they're doing a fantastic job with the limited resources that you have. You've seen our employees go beyond the call of duty. I'm asking the council now just to do their duty. Their duty is simple. This is a simple vote. Yes, employers, we're going to pay you more money. And if the council have any other problems with the budget, let not our employers be the problem of the issue inside the budget. If they want to continue to drag out the budget based off different projects, different equipment we may need, that's fine. But in the meanwhile, let's raise the wages and restore employees back to all these departments that we desperately need inside the city of Selma. And let's not continue to point blame and saying who's at fault. The fault is when we refuse to act. When you don't act, you are creating chaos. Let's act for once and all. Let's make each other proud by making a decision and vote once and for all. To sit on the council for 3 years to say you never pass a budget, your constitutional responsibility is to make sure you pass a balanced budget. That is your constitutional responsibility. My constitutional responsibility is to make sure that I meet with the department heads for us to determine the needs of the city and to present those needs to the council so you can fulfill your constitutional responsibility. Well, we've done our constitutional responsibility. It's time for the council to do their constitutional responsibility. It's not difficult to do. It's about having a heart to do. And how dare us go inside a council meeting and they pray before the council meeting just to turn around to hurt city employees. I wonder where those prayers are going to. Let's not play with spirituality and religion just to turn around to do the opposite of what we just prayed about. Pray to ask God to allow us to work together, then you don't work together. That's hypocrisy at its tip. And yes, as mayor, I am frustrated and I'm angry, not with you as a citizen. I'm angry because they're not giving you the services that you deserve, nor paying these employers the wages that they deserve. And I support every effort to make sure that we move our city forward. When I ran for office, I told you, we will put Selma first. Not our personal agendas first, not our personal ideas first, not our sales first, but to put this city first. And ever since we've said that, it's been a battle. Everybody want to put themselves first because they don't like what is going on inside the city, because they can't control what is going on inside the city. Listen, election year is right around the corner. Let's make the tough decisions now and let the election work itself out. Those who want to run for office have the right to run for office. This is America, one of the greatest country in this world. But we shouldn't use our political positions to posture ourselves for another election. We should use these positions and the God-given time He's given us to make tough decisions for our employees. Our employees, they are working with us. Our employees, they are a part of us. Never forget that. They are a part of us, which means we should respect them. They're not servants who we can just pay anything we want to pay them. A worker is worthy of his or her wages. That's for those who are of any faith. We believe that you should pay people their wages, a healthy wage. And let's do that in Selma. Let Selma get it right. Let's stop being the laughing stock of Alabama. As mayor, yes, we have a lot of history in this Selma, but there's a whole lot of things that are embarrassing in our city. When we refuse to pay our employees, that is one of the most embarrassing things that a city can do. They say, yeah, we want to pay you, but we're not going to pay you. Why make such statements if you're not going to move in the right direction? And I'm telling you, I'll be back here in your face again until the council move, until they act, until they make a decision for the city of Selma. Again, their inaction doesn't hurt me personally. It hurts our city. It hurts our staff and our employees. Their decisions shouldn't be aimed at the mayor. I don't like the mayor. I don't like his personality. Well, be adult enough, be mature enough to look beyond personalities and look at what is right, the things that we need to do. Don't be distracted by an individual, because the cause is bigger than one person. This ain't about the mayor. This is about all our city employees who have deserved raises and increases over the last decade. But no council or no administration has done so. But this administration will continue to fight for what is right for our employees. And whether it's popular or not, I stand with our employers and say they deserve to get more pay and their wages should be higher. And we can do it with the money that we have right now. That's the beauty of the budget we gave the council. Let me share this with you. The budget we gave the council was literally the budget that they gave us. We just added salary increases inside of it and made a few little changes inside the budget. And so the hypocrisy to say we need more time, you said you passed a balanced budget last year. What we did, we took your budget and balanced your budget, and we increased employees' wages. That's the only thing we did. So why do they need more time? Again, I tell you, it is a game they're playing with you and our city employees. It's time for the council to remove the wizard from behind the mask and say this, what we have been doing is because of our personal agendas, and do what is right once and for all for our city employees. That's all I'm asking. If we can do what is right for our city employees, the council, if they want to continue to just challenge this, we're playing these games on, we're not going to give you this, mayor, not give you that, that's fine. But don't take it out on our city employees and don't take it out on our citizens. You don't have to agree with everything that I want, but this should be a common ground issue we agree on, that employees deserve to get paid. And let's throw the Auburn plan out the way if that's the issue. Let's use the plan that's already in our system. Because there's ways inside our system that will show ranges for all our employees. And I'm asking the council, let's do that right now, effectively, immediately. And I hope by this Friday, the council will have a special call meeting to address this. So next week, we can start the week off fresh and anew. Hopefully, if the employees are not still out on sick and vacation leave. I think we got the opportunity to get it right. So council, let's get it right. You and I, once and for all, let's get it right. All the cards are on the table. There's nothing to hide here. The department heads can come before the council again to tell them this is their budget. Again, not the mayor's budget. I just compiled the budget. It is their budget. They said, council, we need more pay. The council said, yes, we're going to give you more pay. Even to the fact the council said to the clerk they want to raise her salary by $17,000, but yet they didn't do it. A master level clerk, they didn't do it. Why? Because they are concerned about a few other employees inside the city of Selma. One council member said, we can't pass the budget unless you got a certain person inside the budget. That's against the Department of Labor. You can't create position for a certain individual and say you need to hire that person mayor. The council need to stay in their own lane. And when they stay in their lane, we won't have the issues that we have inside the city of Selma. Listen, Selma, I love serving you. I will continue to serve you the remaining time that I have here in this office. And I'm going to continue to stay on the wall to fight for our employees and to fight for you. I'll be tuning in pretty soon to check back up with you to let you know what is happening in City Hall. Thank you for your time.